Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about increasing your revenue on TPT by fixing your conversion rate, and that's the most important thing. First, I'd like to address the picture I put in last week, and that is essentially my picture of Monument Valley on New Year's Day quite a few years ago when I visited there with my family. Today's picture is Machu Picchu. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend it. When we went, my wife and I, we actually did the Inca Trail. Do the 3-day hike, and then you arrive at Machu Picchu overlooking it just after sunrise on the last day. And then you make your way down and explore the site. It's absolutely fantastic. Actually, Peru in general is a fantastic place to visit. So I do recommend that. Maybe if you make a lot of TPT, you can go there. But definitely do the hike. Don't get the train up there unless you obviously can't physically do it. Now back to what we're going to talk about today. When most TPT sellers or teacher entrepreneurs think about making money, the first instinct is to drive more traffic to their store. And I've spoken about that. By driving more traffic, you get more eyes on it, the more you can actually sell. Very logical, isn't it? The more you get in the store, more customers you have, the better your chance of selling. So therefore, we focus on things like Pinterest, doing social media, sending out emails. We've got an email list to drive that traffic there. But here's the thing. Your conversion rate is actually more important and more efficient, sustaining and growing your revenue within your store. You're already getting a lot of people onto your store. Things what you actually want to do is actually optimize your page. Once your store and product pages are optimized, they keep working for you. They keep working for you. They work when you're asleep, when you're at work, when you're out seeing your family, seeing with your friends. Unlike social media and email marketing, which requires constant update because you disappear out of the feed, an optimized TPT store is set and forget with the occasional update, of course, such as TPT's recent reconfiguration of the page that we're all having to actually change how our pages look to meet that new standard. This means more sale with less ongoing effort because once you've done it once, it's done. I must confess, in the beginning, my conversions were awful. And I've spoken about that. I had no thumbnails. I just uploaded the single product page. My descriptions were not very good. And no matter how much you do or how strong I was in digital marketing, conversions were terrible. When I do the monthly talks, I always talk about conversion as being one of the most important things. Why? Like I said, my covers were dull. They were not interesting. My previews were non-existent files. Even though I was putting content up there, my product descriptions didn't sell the benefits. They just described what the product did. So I had to change that. So as I worked on that, I started digging into every piece of TPT storefront product listing advice I get. I jumped onto the forums on TPT, and there wasn't much there. Jumped onto things like YouTube. This is why I do this channel, to help other people. I jumped onto blogs, but YouTube seems to be the largest source of information. And I started to learn about the importance of covers. I learned about the importance of previews. As a result of that, I started to increase my traffic. My title started to add SEO-rich terms that my buyers are actually looking for. So I started thinking about this sort of product, what am I looking for? These are the terms I'm going to use. The covers, I went through a few different designs, but they were simple and bold to grab people's attention. They had bright colors on there to stand out from, I guess, the duller ones around it. The idea is I'll stop the scrolling. Therefore, I was discovered by the right people who wanted to buy my products. This does not mean more traffic. The improvement in SEO covers not only more traffic, but the traffic's likely to convert because I'm appealing to the customers that will want to buy my product. I'm appealing to humanities and history teachers. This effect is optimized with your pages and your store navigation when you get in there. Make it easier for your customers to find the information they need. So when they come into your store, you've got your different categories on the left-hand side. So if they come in looking at, say, American Revolution, and they think, oh, I also teach World War II, they can then click on that and go straight to those resources on there. So we think about the 9 elements of your TPT store to optimize sales. So here are the 9 points. Here's a breakdown of the key areas you should focus on if you're serious about boosting conversions and making your store work for you harder when you're not on there. Number 1 is your TPT store banner. Your banner is the biggest branding opportunity on your storefront. It should be used to highlight your top product categories, communicate your niche and your brand vibe, and direct customers to bestsellers or seasonal products. That is your storefront. That is what people see when they first get onto the page. The next is creating custom categories. Make it easier for teachers to find what they need. If you look at my store, I've got lots of different categories because I do everything from ancient history through to modern. As a result, I've got ones for ancient history in general. I've got ancient Rome, ancient China, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, and I've got World War I, World War II, Industrial Revolution, American War of Independence, Civil War, and so on. I've got all those different area focuses, but then I also break it down to things like comprehension, guided reading, close activity, retrieval activity. So if they're looking for a particular type of activity, such as literacy or sources, they've got that available as well to quickly jump to. And then also split them up using lines, so it segments the information for them to scan through for their brain to easily process it. The next part is resources that you actually highlight. You're allowed to highlight 4 resources at the top of your page, but they aren't automatically your best sellers. I suggest don't put freebies up here because you want people to see products that you actually make money off. And that is a good way of highlighting seasonal products. So when Halloween comes around or Christmas, they're the type of resources you put to highlight because they're the ones people may be looking for. Next, number 4 is product titles. They need to be SEO-rich. They need to have the words other teachers look for when searching, not the words that you think you name a product. So you might name a particular product, but if other teachers don't call it that, they're not going to search and look for it. So it's going to be SEO-rich, keywords, things like worksheet, activity. If you're teaching history, and what type of history? It's like ancient Rome history on there. Activity, worksheet, discovery world, close activity, comprehension. So you can match up the word of them searching comprehension with the word ancient history or ancient Rome. You can use grade levels, topics, resource types. I tend not to put grade levels in there because I find in history that's actually taught over multiple grades and it got very confusing. So I put keywords in there which I know relate directly to the resource and make it easy to read. Don't keyword stuff it. It's got to be legible for people's brain to process it. You can put keywords in there, but make it a logical sentence when you're doing it. Number 5, cover images. And recently I've completely recovered my cover image because it wasn't communicating what I want. It's simple, but like I said, it had elements on there which I didn't think were selling it. As a result, I put more dot point information on there and highlighting what the resource can do for the teacher and what aspects or features it's got as my main point. And anecdotally, I can say it has started improving the number of conversions and sales for those products since I've done that. Use imagery that matches the resource. In my case, I put up copies of the contents on my cover page so I can see the type of resources that are in there. And avoid clutter or tiny text. It is like a billboard, get the main points across. And then if that gets their interest, they can look at the snippet, which is attached to it, which also highlights keywords for you. And then they can click in and read more detail. Supporting the cover images is actually the other 3 thumbnail images. And this is where you go into more detail, once again, keeping it simple. What this is, what's included, how does it help? Highlight the benefits, not just the features. You mix visuals with short, clear text in there as well. Number 7, your preview file. This is where you can go into a lot of details. This is a PDF you upload, and you can make it a multi-page PDF if you wish. I prefer to do mine simple as a single page, and I use dot points to highlight the features. So it's really just an extension of the way I do my thumbnails. So under the preview, make sure it's different from your thumbnails and has different information. It answers frequently asked questions. It overcomes objections, and it highlights the benefits, features. Remember, you sell the sizzle, not the sausage. Number 8, your product description. This is the copy they sell. So they've looked at you, done the search, they've done your thumbnails, they may have looked at your preview. Now they'll read your description. It should have a clear introduction with the SEO keywords saying what it's for, then a list of key features, instructions to use it, and the problem it solves for your students. And the thing I always put below my descriptions is information to encourage them to put a review. Just basically a highlight they've got TPT credits, and therefore, if they buy my products, they can buy more products for free. Links to related products within your store, and then invite them to follow and join a mailing list. And from that, they may get a freebie of some description. Are you ready to take some action? So if you think about boosting your conversions, have a look at all these different features and what journey do they take your customer on. Final thoughts? You keep grinding away on social media. hoping you get an algorithm, or you can fix your store so that every new visitor is most likely to buy. Increase your conversions. The truth is, we're all doing lots of hard work to get the traffic, and TPT drives a lot of traffic to our stores now. So if you look under your search, you see where it comes from. The majority of people's stores have traffic within TPT itself. We've got to hit that. We don't want to waste the opportunities that are there. So go away, have a look at your listings, have a look at your store design. If you're curious, go look at other people's stores and how they put it together. Mine's called Yugen Learning, if you want to look it up, and focus on increasing your conversions above 4 or 5%. And then watch your revenue climb, because you might be getting the same amount of customers, but you're converting more of them to your products. A good way to also, before we leave, is go look at your conversions page of your products for the month. Which ones are the highest converting products? And what have you done those pages different to the ones that aren't converting at a high rate? I hope you found this useful. You can subscribe as always. Questions below. Enjoy my picture of Machu Picchu. Put on your bucket list to go visit. If you've got a suggestion what image you'd like to put behind me while I keep doing this format, because I'm sitting inside it at the moment, write a comment below and I'll include it for the next video. Till then, keep up the good work.